Hey everyone, Mr. Armitage here. In this video, we are actually calculating another confidence interval, so let's consider this example 2. Right? So State's Division of Motor Vehicles, DMV, claims that 60% of all teams pass their driving test on their first attempt. An investigative reporter examines a simple random sample of the DMV records for 125 teens. 86 of them pass the test on their first try. Create a 95% confidence interval for P, the true proportion of all teens who pass their driving test on the first attempt. Okay, so we need to look at what is our, well, first, right, always we should check our conditions, check our, what's the population, what's the parameter, what's the sample, what's the statistic. Okay, but let's just start off, let's get the statistic. Okay, P hat. Right? We had 86 teens out of 125 teens pass the test on the first try. Okay? And so here, right, we are told the parameter, okay, that we're looking for, the true proportion of all teens who pass their driving test in the first attempt. Okay, now let's see, 86 out of 125 is 0.688. Okay, so because the DMV claims that 60% of all teens pass, okay, do we have some evidence that maybe 60% is too low? A little bit, right? The 68.8% here is higher than 60, but let's see if it's high enough to say that no, definitely it can't be 6, or it shouldn't, probably isn't 60%. Okay, so our standard error is going to be, remember, p hat times 1 minus p hat divided by n, all inside of a square root. So we're going to have 0.688 times 1 minus 0.688 divided by 125 and square root that entire thing. There we go. Okay, so put that into the calculator. And our standard error is 0.0414. Okay, more decimal places than needed, but that's okay. Okay, now we're doing a 95% confidence interval. Okay. So once again, Z star is going to be 1.96. I told you, 95% confidence interval is going to be the most common one you see. So memorize the 1.96. Okay. Now our confidence interval is always the point estimate, in this case p hat, plus or minus the margin of error. Okay? Well, the margin of error is Z star times the standard error. Okay? But now we can plug these numbers in. Okay? 0.688 plus or minus 1.96 times 0.0414. 1.96 times 0.0414. So our margin of error is 0.0811. Okay, so there we go. Now let's go ahead, see how this breaks down. Right? What does our confidence interval become? So we do the subtraction, we do the addition. 0.688 minus 0.0811. Whoops, okay. Accidentally did multiplication, see? Okay, so we get 0.607, we'll say. Okay, round to 3 decimal places, because why not? Okay, add 0.769. Sorry, I don't mean why not. I mean because our original problem was 3 decimal places. So final answer, let's do 3 as well. So that means our confidence interval is between 60, if I can write, okay, is between 60.7% and 76.9%. Okay, so we are 95% confident that the true proportion of teenagers who pass their driving test on the first attempt is captured by the interval 60.7% to 76.9%. Now you'll notice 60%. Okay, 60% is not inside this interval. Does not contain 60%. Okay? Which means, based on our sample, we have convincing evidence that the proportion of teenagers who pass their driving test on the first attempt is greater than 60%. Okay? See you later.